All right, I'll call the regular council meeting with Tuesday, October 28th to order. We respectfully acknowledge that this meeting is being held on the traditional territory of the Kwagil people. Gila Kessler.
Yep.
May I get approval of the agenda as amended? We have two additions to the agenda. We have under correspondence, number 9, we have the next Reddit letter of support, and number 10 additions as well. The Port Hardy Museum Heritage Letter for support for grant. Okay.
Motion to approve as amended.
Thank you, Councillor Dorwood, second by Councillor Texmo. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. All right. Adoption of minutes. Minutes of the special council meeting held October 14th for adoption. Moved by Councillor Dorwood, second by Councillor Texmo. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Minutes of the regular council meeting held October 14th for adoption. Moved by Councillor Robertson, second by Councillor Dorwood. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. All right, delegations and requests to address council has been postponed. We had a presentation of the first Poppy. Dorothy Hunt, president, is unable to make it today, so at a later date, Mayor, she will do that presentation with you, and very special, so hopefully that will be done soon. All right, business arising from the minutes and unfinished business. We have our council item report, October 14th for information. Councillor Dorwood?
It's not on here. It's semi-related, but what's happening with the ARC permit for like the installation of more playground equipment?
It was put through its 30-day referral and I haven't heard anything further from them. So it was sent out just shortly after we received the archaeological permit for Beaver Harbor Park. We sent out for its 30-day referral, which goes through the First Nations.
Okay, and so that's a 30-day referral process?
The 30-day referral process.
And then
I don't know the timeline after that.
Oh, okay. Thank you.
It's the only timeline.
Okay. It's moving.
It's moving.
Fine.
It moved. Yes, it moved.
Okay.
That's good. Thank you, Councillor Dorwood. Any other comments? Okay, item number 2, Triport Minor Baseball request to council for upgrades to Park Drive ball diamonds for discussion. We have our letter. Any comments? Yes, Councillor Dorwood?
Yeah, I think these are really good points. I'd like to refer this to the finance committee. So maybe we can see what we can chew off in the next year or 2 or 3 or 4.
Absolutely. Any other comments, Councillor Texmo?
Yeah, I fully agree. First of all, I just think you did a great job laying all this out for everyone to see. It's a lot of work and I think it lays out everything very well. And like I spoke openly about it before, I'm in big favor of trying to fix that up, but also figure out how we can work with softball to make sure that the youth have access to the fields out at the beach. I think that's important. I just want to kind of figure out how and when we can kind of address that.
It's an interim measure.
Yeah, it's an interim because that can be addressed right away. I mean, obviously with the finances and all the work that needs to be done at the field, that has to go through finance committee. But as far as figuring out how we can start working in with slow pitch to make sure they have access, I would definitely like to get that ball kind of rolling.
Fantastic.
And
Mayor and then Councillor.
No pun intended.
yeah, that's right.
Mayor Pat Corbett-Levitt.
I totally agree. Going to finance, working out a schedule with the slow pitch league so that they understand that they have to share the field. But I'm also wondering if we could write a letter back to Trish and just state that this is the steps we're taking and we'll get back to her at a later date.
And she's here as well.
Oh, is she? Okay. Never mind. We don't have to write a letter then.
All right, Councillor Robertson.
Yeah, no, I was just going to say with it. I'm particularly keen to see some cooperation between the slow place, the 3 ball diamonds out at the beach area, and they should be used.
Yeah.
There should be use of those. That's we can work that out. That's doable.
Thank you, Councillor Dorwood.
And cleaning the toilet. regularly, I think, can be probably taken care of pretty quickly, I would hope to, so, yeah, but yeah, we can.
All right, do we need a motion to move that to the,
Yes.
okay, may I get a motion? to
I
move
moved
finance?
it.
Thanks. You did move it, yeah. First, Counselor Dorwood, second, Counselor Texmo. Any other comments?
Just that, yeah, by really pushing it to deal with slow pitch and make sure that there's use of those fields. Cause, you know, we have to work with what we have for taxation money, revenue with finance and all that, but at least by getting those, that figure out slow pitch, there's that intern that the kids have access to those fields is super important, right? And like a better field is huge. Like, you know, I coach baseball there on that field and it's not in good shape and it's not that great to play baseball on that field. So I want to see those kids and be able to coach those kids on better fields as well, so.
Thank you, Counselor Texmo. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Okay, October 14th, regular council meeting notice of motion for discussion. Oh yes, so the motion that staff be requested to initiate the process to reduce the speed limit on the portion of Beaver Harbor Road north of Fort Rupert Elementary to 40 kilometers an hour inclusive of Carlton Street, Chatham Avenue, and Scotia Street. For discussion.
I will move this and looking for a seconder.
I'll second that.
Moved by Counselor Robertson, second by Counselor Dugas.
And so I'll just speak to it if I may. Yeah, there's been a lot of discussion out at the beach. It's a fairly distinct area that from this Fort Rupert north to all the way to Chatham. And there have been occasions where it's a bit unique because it doesn't have a sidewalk along there. That area doesn't have a sidewalk. It is kind of a straight stretch. People tend to not park on that street, so it's a little bit unlike Elk Drive too, where there's natural calming for things. So it can be a straight stretch and it can lead to people, i.e. me, I haven't done it, just not thinking and speeding down. And so there's lots of discussion about reducing the speed limit. So this was this was the motion that that I thought would be good to bring. The 40 kilometers an hour is easily amendable to 30 kilometers an hour. I've also heard some requests for signs, a distinct sign that says slow down when you come to people walking on the street, sort of thing. And lots of people have them in their yards, actually. But so it's just, I think, and it would be a good, we've talked about, and other communities have talked about decreasing the speed limit within town limits. And this would be a good place to try it out. It's quite separate. It'd be a good experiment to see how it works. So again, I would support this motion and it's asking staff to bring a proposal back to council to initiate that process. So it's not that it needs to happen tomorrow, but in the not too distant future would be good.
Yes, Counselor Doyle?
Yeah, I know that there are traffic concerns out at the Beaver Harbor area. I just recall when we had our ops meetings, and this was brought up before, that I think operations brought up that speed limit signs don't always work, and that's why the traffic calming was tried. And then they said, you know, speed bumps are another way, but people despise speed bumps. And I just wonder if, like, how do we know this is the best solution, I guess? Like, should we discuss ways to slow down the traffic or just go to the 40 kilometer an hour sign because I already tried the traffic calming?
Well,
I just don't want to have to go change it to 40, change it back to 50,
Yeah, no,
change it to 30.
Yeah.
Like, are people gonna listen to it if it's 40, but it's still wide and it feels safe to drive
Yeah.
too fast?
And I mean, enforcement is going to be exactly the way enforcement happens with other places in town where the speed limit's 50. I mean, the speed limit out is already 30 on Stories Beach Road. Yeah, I think it's a good start. And if you put up a 40 sign with one of those little fluorescent, this is new, then it does grab your attention. And just the fact that there's a sign with a lowered speed limit, I think is indicative of people need to slow down. Does it mean that people will always obey it? No, probably not. It's unlikely that, but that could be said, you know, the speed limit on Park Drive going up the hill or coming down the hill is 50. And again, I don't, and they do enforce that a little bit because you're coming into a 30 zone there too occasionally. So I think one of the things and that I meant to point out with this too, this deals with the speed limit. I will also, when finance is meeting and we're talking about capital, be proposing that we also build a sidewalk from Fort Rupert School. The end of the sidewalk ends there just shortly after Fort Rupert School, at least until you get around that bend, around the bend to the residential area. I think it's, I don't, you know, I'm not an engineer, but I don't think it's all that complicated. I think between who we have on staff, that it could be actually done in-house sort of thing. So, which would make it a little bit less expensive than contracting out. And there's also, it's called Vision Zero BC. It's a granting body that where you can get up to $20,000 to install something like that, sidewalk around there in those areas. So it'd probably be worth going down. And I don't think the application is hugely complicated. So to offset some of those costs. So the speed limit, as well as during finance committee discussions, the sidewalk. And that should begin to address some of the concerns, because the reality is a whole lot of people every day walk on Beaver Harbor Road, and there are no sidewalks. And I was coming down this morning at before 8 o'clock, driving to the school, and there was sideways where you couldn't see. There was lots of traffic, and I'm just not on the road that early anymore. But and there was a parent and child riding their bikes to school, so it was yeah. So anyway, yeah, it would be good to begin to address them.
Thank you, Councillor Robertson. CAO Nelson Smith?
Yeah, actually, there's one project that, Director Jacinto and I have been talking about, and I talked about this quite a few years ago with residents when we were talking about the speed limit down there, and that stretch of sidewalk space between Fort Rupert and the, and Beaver Harbor, where the residential starts. And so one of the solutions that we had come up with was to narrow the roadway itself, move the center line over, and paint a white solid line all the way along the edge of the road rather than a sidewalk. So the reason for that is the sidewalk is expensive, one. But second of all, as soon as we put a sidewalk in, we now are saying that we're going to plow it, salt it, sand it, clear it, and do all those things. And without having any residential in that area, and being that that area is priority 2 and not a priority 1, it makes it very difficult for us to get there. So liability opens up. But we, Director Jacinto has verified that we can actually narrow the roadway a bit, which will take the speed limit down a bit as well, just in terms of people won't feel like it's a highway to drive on. But it still is an ample roadway for a 50-kilometer-an-hour road, but still allows for a white area that has like a walking person on it, so that it's a designated walking site that will continue that on.
I will reserve judgment on that, but in the meantime, let's work. So, and that discussion will happen as time unfolds, but yeah, fair enough. Again, my understanding is, with apologies to Janet, is they wanted a discrete sidewalk.
It's okay to use the word discreet.
Thanks.
Here we go again.
A discrete sidewalk as opposed, anyway, so I think that's a discussion to be continued later on, but again, this motion is just about the speed limit, and again, it's asking to initiate the process, and I don't know if the process involves consultation, because the number, the speed limit of 40, I think was not so bad. People might think 30, I don't know, but anyway, that's what the motion says right now.
Thank you, Councillor Robertson. Councillor Dorwin?
What is the process to change the speed limit in a part of town?
It's a bylaw.
A bylaw?
Because right now, at this point in time, because we don't have a bylaw, we revert to whatever the provincial standard is. As soon as you start changing speed limits, then you do need to have a bylaw.
And sorry.
Go ahead.
would we do a formal consultation process with the neighborhood, or we just go with Counselor Robinson's recommendation, or how does it work?
That's up to the will of council.
Counselor Dugas?
Yeah, go ahead.
That's it, I'm
You
done.
weren't finished.
I'm done. I'm done. Not finished.
You're finished. Well, I think the process would have to be that you'd have to obviously discuss that with the people in the area, but I don't think there's too many people in the area that would be against it because they've always complained about the speed. I lived down there for 13 years and I know that on that straight stretch in front of where I lived
Yeah.
was like a freeway. I mean, they just come around the corner there and they just booted it until they got to the other corner and then they slowed down.
But maybe they want it 30 instead of 40. Sorry to interrupt, but maybe they
Well-
want it 30 instead of 40, right? That-
Well, yeah, and I think I mentioned it to Councilor Robinson before that normally it's like 80, 50, 30. It's not like a throwing in the one in the middle, 40, which is kind of sometimes confusing too, with regards to different numbers. And we do already come into a 30 zone anyway, so it's basically just a continuation of that to the end of the beach, so.
Yeah.
I would think that that would be more appropriate to keep it to 30 because people are gonna buy 40 anyway, so.
I
If you
agree.
put it to 40, then you got 50, so.
People always drive 10 over.
Well, it seems that way, but
Yeah,
I think that it's a perfect location because it's like, it's just one way in. It's not like you're having traffic coming from both directions. So it's a perfect opportunity to do that. I know a number of communities have actually, except for their main thoroughfares like Park Drive and around Granville or whatever, they've actually said that all residential streets are 30. They've cut it down to 30.
I wouldn't mind.
And, I think it's a great idea. And I know on our street, we get a number of different people parking, and I know that Pat in her area, up where you are, if people park along the side of the street, people slow down. Because it's like pretty narrow and they're pretty cautious going through there. So the narrower the street, the better, because that's like a traffic control. And I think Abbas had mentioned that too in one of our meetings. He was saying, the narrower the street, the slower the people travel. And that street there in Beaver Harbor Road is way wider than it really needs to be. It's really wide, and so that just means people wanna boot down there. But I see that the mayor has her hand up.
Before that, thank you, Counselor Dugas, CAO Nelson Smith.
Yeah, a few years ago, we put up a speed, sign and we tracked it for about 90 days roughly on here. And the average speed in that area was 42 kilometers an hour, with 85% of the vehicles in both directions driving slower than 50 kilometers an hour. We did note in our traffic assessment that the maximum recorded speed was 99 kilometers an hour.
Around the
and-
corner?
And that, it's, potentially residents, because it happens between the hours of 6:30 AM and 8 AM. And again, at the same time of 3 to 6 PM.
Thank you.
There's some speedies.
Mayor,
No, sorry, I'm gonna withdraw my question. It's fine. I'll comment.
right, Counselor Dorrit?
I'd actually prefer to see like all the residential streets go to 30 than just one neighborhood. I mean, I think, is there a residential street in Port Hardy that should be faster than 30?
I don't think so.
No,
I don't,
Can anyone think of one?
no.
Nope.
So if we're gonna do a bylaw for a speed limit. Blanket one, throughout all residential streets.
The only one maybe Bing Road, the airport, going to the airport, would that be considered residential and need to be 30 from the school all the way to the airport? That might be the only one that could have a 50 and be safe, so to
Well,
speak.
it's got a sidewalk.
good sidewalk.
Yeah.
We probably need to have a little look at it, really, like, just to
But
make
that's-
sure that we don't miss anything.
No, for
but
sure. That'd be like,
I don't know what you think of that.
Do we need to
I'm-
amend?
That's fine, yeah, I mean, I don't think it alters it does alter the motion a little bit, but it's it.
But the reason for it is all still there
Yeah.
and everything, it just expands it.
Mhm.
You're okay with the 30?
Now,
I'm okay with 30, yeah, too.
CAO Nelson Smith?
the Vision Zero grant could also go towards having somebody do an assessment of that and provide that back.
Okay,
Thank you. Any other comments? Counselor Tidbury, Mayor Corbett Labatt?
I will make one comment actually, and that is the referral to Elk Drive and the natural calming. I'll use my example of my grandson that was going for a driving test, going down Elk Drive, and he was only going 30. And the driver, the tester said the speed limit's 50.
So get a better tester.
Anyhow, just saying, because even though, he should have come back with well, I don't feel safe, I'm driving to the road conditions. Nevertheless, when someone of authority says to you, the speed limit is 50 and you're on a side street that you shouldn't be driving 50 on.
Yeah,
Reason to shoot the
exactly.
30.
Mhm.
Some
Yeah.
max. Did you?
That's where I did it, yeah,
Oh, no.
same thing.
All right, do we need to amend the motion or based on that motion, we can do a little bit of research further into it and research grants and maybe it extends further in doing a study? Can we do that based on that motion or do we have to have a motion?
You might wanna, if you could just amend it, because if you want us to look at the broader picture, the
Right.
motion speaks specifically to Story Speed.
Yeah, Beaver Harbor.
Okay,
You
so
amend it, Fred.
I would amend it to move that we amend it to, the staff be requested to initiate the process to reduce this, to reduce the speed limit to 30 kilometers an hour in residential areas in the district of Port Hardy.
Second? Counselor Dugas and Counselor Tidbury, you had your hand up.
Yes, have we had any report from the RCMP about regarding the road?
CEO
Which
Nelson
one?
Smith.
Regarding the traffic on the road?
Yes, correct, and the speed.
Oh, yeah, so if I could, the feedback, is it's not gonna change enforcement at this point in time, so, in terms of, whether it's 50, 40, 30. You're probably not gonna see the RCMP sitting out there enforcing that, but, the complaints that have been raised at RCMPs typically it's people in the neighborhood.
Mm.
It's not outsiders. Your looky-loos are gonna be the ones that are doing like your 20 and 30 to peer in people's windows, and it's the people that actually live within the area that are typically speeding.
Yeah, it's not worth trying to peer in the windows, everybody has something.
Counselor Doyle?
Did I got distracted from the actual wording that I was thinking of, but when you mentioned the change in the wording, could you make it more to investigate a speed reduction in residential zones? So, because maybe 30 is not right, maybe it is 40.
Okay, well,
Let's not be so firm.
okay, so here's my, may I?
Absolutely, yeah.
Yeah.
Counselor Robinson.
Here's my concern.
Okay.
My concern is that this is a very specific motion for a very specific area. And the amendable is 30 or 40. By broadening it up, and this can be done in a relatively straightforward manner, and it shouldn't take that long, to be quite honest, given, how long it takes. By expanding it to the entire community and doing studies and things like that, all of a sudden it becomes not a specific motion, and it becomes the time frame that's involved becomes indeterminate. So that's my concern with moving it that far out, is because this was a specific motion in a specific neighborhood to do something relatively quickly in terms of how fast council can operate, sort of.
May I address that?
And so,
With the suggestion from CA Nelson Smith and Director Jacinto with narrowing the road and having that white line, I think that naturally will create a traffic calming and will maybe slow traffic down and allowing us the time that we need to actually do a proper sort of study, and then that.
yeah, but
Would
that's my
that-
concern, that time.
Mhm. Sorry.
Counselor Darwood and then Counselor Dugas.
Yeah, so part of the kind of questions that came up were, is 40 the right number? Are we going to survey the neighborhood? So if we're gonna survey the neighborhood, I think it would take just as long to get this Vision Zero grant, survey the town, or not necessarily survey the town, but study to make sure that we're making the right decision, so that we're not like putting that traffic calming measure in that upset everybody, or putting a 40 in that upsets everybody when they wanted 30, or they just wanted to leave it at 50. That's what so it's not that I'm trying to delay what, you know,
Yeah,
the
no,
the concerns about safety at Beaver Harbor. Mine is, let's make the right decision once.
Yep.
That's all. So I mean, if you don't want to amend your motion, that's
No,
okay.
no, I'm happy to do it. I would prefer to not drag on for a very long time.
Duly noted by staff, eh?
Yeah.
Not that they do that, but this is.
I think there's anything.
No, I know.
Thank you. Counselor Dugas.
Yeah, it's okay. I'm basically reiterating what Councillor Doherty was saying, just basically that Councillor Robertson brought something specific to a specific area. Now we're talking about something general for the whole community. And yeah, we don't want it to go on for years before we make a decision what we do in the whole community, but that doesn't necessarily meet the concerns that they have in that particular area. So I don't know if you want to have two motions
Yeah,
or one
I
motion
was
or
gonna
whatever.
suggest that perhaps we could go with two motions.
What is the motion that we have right now?
It was an amended motion.
Well, it hasn't actually been voted on, so
Yeah.
it's still the
It's
main.
still first and second, yeah.
So the motion right now is to amend the original motion.
Mhm.
So council
To,
needs to just
And
determine
I'll withdraw that proposal.
the amendment motion.
Yeah.
so we're back to the original motion that is in the agenda. All right, we have a first, we have a second, all in favor?
Did we establish the?
This is the original.
This is the
motion
original
written.
motion.
This is the original motion as written in the agenda that you would
Yes.
like to place.
You never changed it to 40 or 30 or whatever?
Well, I would move that we amend it to 30 kilometers an hour,
Sorry, to 30.
30
Yes, yeah.
kilometers an hour.
His original
Original
motion.
one, now another.
That we
So
already
it's
voted.
amended.
So then we're voting on the amendment, and then we gotta vote on the original motion as amended.
Yeah.
So the
So we need a mover and
amendment,
a seconder on the amendment.
okay.
Yep.
Counselor Robertson, second by Counselor Dugas for the amended motion to 30 kilometers.
For all of,
And we're going to vote on just the amended motion, and then we'll vote on the main, okay.
Yeah.
All right, all in favor? Any opposed? Okay, and now voting on the motion. All right,
As
so we need a first and second again?
No.
Perfect, so as amended, we're voting on the motion, all in favor?
John's with.
Counselor Tidbury? You're on.
you're on mute.
What is the motion?
Are you ready? That the staff be requested to initiate the process to reduce the speed limit of a portion of Beaver Harbor Road north of Port Rupert Elementary to 30 kilometers an hour inclusive of Carlton, Chatham, and Scotia.
Okay, all in favor? Any opposed? Carry. Oh, one opposed.
So there is a subsequent, why
Counselor
don't we?
Tidbury.
Yeah,
Do another
I'd like to
motion.
bring forward a motion that we investigate changing the speed limit to 30 kilometers an hour throughout the residential streets, or the majority of the residential streets.
Thank you, Counselor Counselor Dorwood, seconder, Counselor Texmo, any discussion? No, all
That's
right,
a good idea.
all right, we'll call, all in favor? Any opposed?
No.
Carried.
Good.
Thank you all. Oh, good work.
Good work for you as a stand.
Yeah.
You're hanging in there.
We're trying to confuse you, and you're not falling for it.
I have a little secret inside that I would absolutely love if the whole town was 30, but you know, just keep that on the
That's
DL.
good.
All right,
Okay.
under new business, proposed 2026 tactical plan for approval, the 2026 Port Hardy MRDT proposal. Any comments? Counselor Tidbury, did you have any comments you wanted to? Or
Nope.
Counselor Dugas?
I have a question.
Yeah, Counselor Robertson?
I'm not sure is this coming from your committee, John, or?
CAO Nelson Smith?
Normally it would come from the tourism committee. However, the tourism committee was unable to make quorum. at the last meeting. So in order to ensure that this gets moved forward in the timely fashion, that staff has brought it forward. We did have the presentation at the tourism committee and we published it online so that the rest of the tourism committee members could review it. But we didn't get any negative responses nor more positive responses about it, but those that were in attendance, we were one short of quorum. Didn't seem to have any issue. It doesn't deviate from our previous years. It doesn't misalign with any of our marketing strategy. And therefore staff would put it on with the recommendation from staff that it be approved.
Thank you.
Yeah,
Councillor
no,
Robertson?
I mean, I can't comment on the cost of a lot of the things, and I'm not 100% sure I understand what organic social media is as opposed to social media. That being said, what I do have the question about is, strikes me for all of the work that's being proposed, that the wages and benefits of $20,000 seems low. Is the person who's going to be doing it going to be is that part of a job that person does? Okay.
Yeah, we contract the MRDT administration to 4VI.
Mhm.
And for VI, this is the job that they provide
Okay.
all over the region,
Yeah.
all over Vancouver Island.
Mhm.
And so it's just part of a
Yeah.
separate entity that they're doing.
Okay.
Councillor Dugas?
Well, I was just gonna make the motion.
Oh, excellent. Councillor Dugas makes the motion, seconded by Councillor Dorod. Any other comments, questions?
I think organic social media might be them actually posting themselves as opposed to like ad driven, like paying, like maybe like them actually posting on their websites,
Oh,
my guess.
like earned media sort of thing?
Just like, instead of like, just having an ad show up on someone's feed, it's actually their website or their actual page being posted.
Yeah. No,
My guess,
they know what they're doing more than I do.
Absolutely. Leave it to the experts. All right, we have first and second, all in favor? Any opposed? And thank you very much, staff, for putting this on the agenda to make sure we get it all approved. All right, correspondence. Buckle up, we have a few. All right, number one, Kevin Wallachuk, Vice President, Port Hardy Legion, Branch 237, Remembrance Day Park Use Request. Moved by Councillor Dorwood, second by Councillor Texmo. Any comments? Wonderful thing. All right, all in favor? Any opposed? That's carried. Number two, Charlotte Lever, Vice President of North Island Métis Proclamation, request for recognition of November 2025 as Métis History and Cultural Month and flag raising, sponsored by Councillor Tidbury. May I get a motion? Moved by Councillor Texmo. Seconded by seconded by the mayor. We'll get Mayor Pat Corbett-Labatt on there. All in favor? Any opposed? Thank you so much.
I just have a comment about that. The flag raising is on, I believe, November 13th. Unfortunately, I'm going to be out of town, so I'm just hoping that others will be able to attend. And I know in the past, there's been good representation from council.
Yeah, I'll be there for that.
Yeah.
Thank you.
Councillor Dugas?
Now, I don't have the list in front of me, but other things that are being remembered in November, is there any other flag raisings that happen that month for items that we're supporting?
Not for flag raising. No, not for flag raising.
Well, okay, so the flag will be up from the 13th to the end of the month, is that correct?
For the week, November 13th to 20th.
What is it?
Well, we think maybe it might have been the transgender flag that came forward last year, or
Mhm.
because there was one right after the Métis flag, but we haven't seen that request come in.
Okay, I'm just wondering how long the flag stays up for.
Typically right up until right after Louis Riel.
Mhm.
November 16th.
Okay,
Is there a time for the flag raising? Or is that to be announced?
At the
The
time of the event.
Yeah,
Time of day.
For the flag raising.
on the 13th. Is there a time?
Okay.
Okay.
We will gather the 13th. Thank you, Mayor, for bringing that forward. All right. Number 3, Isabella Wanek, student, Port Hardy Secondary School, regarding indoor soccer tournament request for donation. Any comments? Do we have?
Really ambitious for,
Yeah,
she's not asking for specific amount.
Do we have any budget in our, Director Norme Isaac?
We had, in our grant needs, we approved on the miscellaneous part on the bottom, funding for sporting events, and nobody's asked for anything so far this year, so there's $1,000 sitting there.
1,000?
Mhm.
And
Last year we had more requests for soccer and there was teams traveling last year that we did quite a bit of stuff for, so then when we put together the budget, that's been sitting there and nobody's requested anything out of it so far.
Counselor Texmo?
is there a date for this?
December 13th and 14th.
Okay, and when does that grant and aid budget roll over, is the question?
I think it's calendar year, isn't it?
Yeah.
Every year? Okay,
Thank you, Director Isaac. Any suggestions? Yes, Counselor Dorr?
Well, this one's tough. I want to support it, but not like, it seems it's only cash or goods for the concession stand that are being asked for. Not sure how much has already been raised. I do see that proceeds are going to the Indian Residential School Survivor Society. I was thinking something nominal.
I was thinking $150.
I was thinking 100. I'll make a motion to donate $100.
I'll second that.
Moved by Counselor Dorwood, second by Counselor Dugas. Any other comments? Yes, Mayor Corbett Lebat?
I'm wondering if perhaps we can give them some swag as well.
Oh, good idea.
A what?
Swag.
Oh, right, right.
We have some swag.
Sure. Yeah, we have fun.
Thank you, Mayor. All right, I'll call all in favor. Any opposed? Carried. All right. Number 4, Cora Nelson, Festival of Lights, Chairperson, Rotary Club of Port Hardy Parade Permit Request. Yes.
I'm a member of Rotary, but I don't have anything to do with the festival lights per se, so
Yes.
I don't
We
feel
would
I'm in
appreciate
conflict, and we're supposed to declare it our own selves. There's nothing monetary about this.
Exactly.
I do have a couple of things with this. The departure place said Bora Mall or something like that.
Thunderbird Mall.
Radon Mall parking lot. Location of formation, Radon Mall parking lot. I'm sure they mean Thunderbird Mall.
Thunderbird Mall, yeah, there's a
Did
map
yours say
there.
Radon?
Why were
Page
Thunderbird?
1.
I read the same thing and then I went to the map and it's at Thunderbird Mall on the map.
Oh, yeah, I'm quite certain, but I don't, there's no, it doesn't change names or. Okay, I just not sure where that came from. Maybe just you start thinking about something else, you know, and. And then I did have some concerns about the barriers. It sounds like the barriers are being placed like a block up from Market Street, like on those roads, like the 2 Douglases.
Mhm.
And, so that people, for instance, couldn't drive down like Powser's Hill to Sporties.
Mhm.
It's
Oh,
from where I read where
On
those.
Rupert Street?
Yeah, it sounds like that. Could maybe somebody else just make sure I was reading it correctly? Barricades at the top of Douglas and Rupert.
So that's.
That's right at the top of the hill there
Douglas
before it
River,
goes
we
down.
always block that one off. So that people don't get down the bottom because there's no place to turn around. So right at the top of Douglas and Rupert, but typically the ones for the other 2, it's easy enough to turn around.
Okay, we do block them at the top of Douglas.
Yeah,
and
we do.
Because
Rupert.
you can't turn around.
Okay. It says top of Main, top of Hastings.
Yeah, we'll have to clarify that, but there's lots of room for turning around at the bottom of those, so we
Okay.
wouldn't normally block them at the top.
Okay, so we'll clarify that,
Yeah.
right? That,
Mhm.
so the barricades are just going to go in their usual place.
And they're usually.
More like,
Okay,
And-
okay.
And I know that there had been, and this isn't in the report, it's in the application, but there had been some verbal discussion about using vehicles as barricades, and so we've gotten some opinion on that. And unfortunately, we won't be able to authorize that unless they can get a clearance letter from ICBC that it would actually cover, because the issue with that is somebody could walk away from a vehicle that has been placed and now we can't get emergency vehicles through. So if there's also damage to that vehicle, would it actually be covered? Because it's not a traveling vehicle and it's not parked in the right spot. So therefore, ICBC would tend to not cover that because now it's being used for business use. So we'll definitely clarify that with the proponent to make sure that that's not being used. You can use emergency vehicles to block traffic, but you can't use like just regular vehicles.
Thank you for that. Someone, Smith, any other comments?
No. What time was sunset that day?
It'd be somewhere around 5.
Yeah,
Okay, so
Yeah.
it'll still be light out. Okay, cause I worry a little bit about that.
Councillor Dugas.
Yeah, basically mentions in her a couple, talks about the parade, but then also talks about the Festival of Lights, so it's kind of like two different dates and times, is that correct?
Yes.
Sorry, I can't speak to that. I know that all the stuff is happening on the 27th, except the Santa Parade, and the Santa Parade only is on Sunday, the 30th. Everything else is on Thursday, the 27th. Thursday, the 27th.
Is it Thursday?
Yeah, so the Santa's arriving and the light up and the boats.
Like we
the
did, we
mayor-
did last year, and that this year there'll be a parade.
Yeah, 3 days later, just the Santa Parade. There's nothing at the end of it, nothing at the beginning of it,
Just a.
like no gathering afterward.
That's just a 3 to 5 deal parade.
Pardon?
3 to 5, I think it was.
4:30, I think, at
4:30,
lead,
whatever,
yeah.
yeah. Okay,
yeah, 4:30.
just two events, that's all.
Any other comments, questions?
So the sunset's at 4:28 on that day,
Nice.
so it'll be dusky.
All right, I'll call for motion.
I'll make that motion.
Councillor Texmo, seconded by Councillor Dugas. So great to see a Santa Claus parade coming to Port Hardy. Well done. I'm excited. And the Festival of Lights, I hear it's gonna be even bigger. So thank you so much to the Rotary and Cora and all of the incredible volunteers for putting it together when it gets dark. As you said, the sun sets at 4:24. It gets dark pretty quick, and I certainly enjoy the lights in the middle of winter and make sure I drive the long way home. So, all right, all in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Oh, was that in opposition? No, it was just a delayed positive. Yeah, got it. All right, moving on. Number 5, Rotary Club of Port Hardy late grant and aid request for 2026 Rotary auction this weekend. We already have that in our grant and aid budget, so we do not need a motion. And it's this weekend. Do we have any comments about this incredible event?
Other than
It's all goes well, yeah.
Hope it goes well too. We don't need any, that's just for information. Fantastic. Moving on, number 6, Riley Zimmerman, Executive Director, Community Futures, Mount Waddington, request letter of support for Reddit grant application. May I get a motion? Councillor Dugas, second by Councillor Robertson. Any comments?
I'll put in one shameless plug.
Yes.
Council should pat themselves on the back because this is one of your projects that is now taken flight and now it's going through its 3rd iteration of Reddit funding. So
Thank you, CA Nelson Smith. Excellent. All right, I'll call it all in favor. Any opposed? Carried. Okay, number 7, Eileen Gillette, Executive Director, Intern, Vancouver Island Regional Library, regarding the 2026 Rural Board appointments for information. We don't need a motion, please? Yes,
Yeah, we will,
Okay.
when we do the council plans.
Got it. Okay,
Yeah.
so this is for information.
Just letting us know,
Letting us
get it
know.
in on time.
This is what you got coming up. This is the commitment. All right.
Eileen Gillette is the new executive
She
director.
is, yes. They were, they had a co-executive, but you know, she's taking the lead. I like her.
She's
Any other comments? All right, number 8, Graham, Regional Clerk, Halton Region, for resolution for public safety requirements to protect our communities for information. Gosh, that was alarming to read, wasn't it, about Ontario and stuff. Any comments? Mayor?
No,
Yes,
it was very alarming.
yes,
Yeah.
yes, I agree. Counselor Dukas?
I think that, I don't know if it's gonna be something that, the mayor and myself should bring up to the RD for a discussion internally. I don't know if they got a copy of this. Do you know, Mayor, if they got a copy of this?
I haven't seen anything.
Okay, well, maybe we could, just pass it on to the RD, because if this was a regional thing that they were concerned about in Ontario, and I think it's something that maybe we could be thinking about or discussing in our area.
Okay.
Whether we support it or whatever we do, and how we do it as a resolution going forward to UBCM or to ADIC, it's something to think about.
Counselor Doyle?
Remember, there was a fair bit of talk at UBCM about repeat violent offenders, and it's time to change the criminal code and
Yeah.
protect.
There's a motion, there's a bill going through, I think, the House of Commons, Federal House of Commons right now, dealing
It
with.
was supposed to this fall, they said, yeah.
No, it's already gone to the House of Commons. Nikki Sharman was just doing a presentation or interview on TV 2 days ago, I think, discussing it. And so hopefully the legislation will pass and it will help.
Mhm.
Thank you, Mayor. Any other comments? All right, moving on to the amended pieces. You have in front of you your letters number 9. The North Island Crisis and Counseling Center is also applying for a REDIP grant, and they're requesting a letter of support. May I get a mover? Counselor Dorwood, second by Counselor Texmo. Any comments? I'll call the motion. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. And number 10, the Port Hardy Museum are looking at applying for the infrastructure grant through BC Arts Council, and they need a letter of support as well. A move by Councillor Dorwood, second by Councillor Dugas. Any comments? All right, fantastic. All in favor? Oh, hold on. Is that
Yeah,
a,
No,
you're ready. You're ahead of me. All in favor? Any opposed? All right, carried. Whew, we did it, guys. All right, committee reports. We have none in the agenda. Staff reports. Director Normay Isaac, Financial Services Q3 expenditure report for information. Well, that's looking pretty good there, Director Isaac. Do you have any comments you would like to?
Yeah, like you say, it's looking great. Really thanks to our directors, managers, supervisors. I truly believe that our new budgets that are live and can be printed any day and you know what's in there has made it their job a lot easier to monitor the budgets, and they are, because I get lots of questions about, oh, you know, such and such broke down and I don't know what I'm gonna do. And we have the discussion that, you know, there's out of ordinary expenses and, you know, overall, we're gonna come in under budget. I truly believe that. I think that we're going along very well, and, but you do get out of ordinary costs that come up along the way. So there'll be a couple of them that probably will. And then I guess the other part is just that, like I say in here, that we've already started some of our budgeting process again for the operations budget, of course, the capital, but sitting down with people and starting the process of being able to look at the budgets line by line. And, it's a great job. Everybody's doing making my job easy.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
Fantastic work. You can really notice the work and the fine tuning. I mean, our numbers are speaking for itself, so that you guys are all together doing a great job. Any other comments? Councillor Dorwood?
Is Councillor Robertson okay that we got a bar graph instead of a pie graph?
No, that's right.
Wasn't on that.
No
page.
pie graphs.
Yeah, I'm okay with it.
Have to wait for the pie graph with the financial plan.
It's on its
The
way.
anticipation. Any other comments?
Good
Well,
job.
Yes, great job. Nice quarter three. Thank you so much. All right, moving on, current bylaws and resolutions. Bylaw number 1181 2025 zoning bylaw amendment, short-term vacation rentals for adoption. Am I gonna move? Oh, did you have a comment, CAO Nelson Smith? Oh, it's like I'm an auctioneer. Oh, sorry. All right, may I get a mover? Counselor Doran, seconder, Counselor Dugas. Any comments? We're good to go. All right, may I call all in favor? Any opposed? None opposed, that's carried. All right, yes.
Just a
Counselor
comment,
Dugas.
thanks for staff for all their work and putting this all together and being supportive of council and the mayor with regards to moving forward with this, because we know that there's been a lot of issues with our community, but I think the decision that we made here is for the betterment of everyone. So.
Certainly is a lot of work, yes, thank you. All right, number 2, bylaw 1182 2025 zoning bylaw amendment, shipping containers for adoption. Moved by Counselor Texmo, seconded by Counselor Dugas. Any comments? All in favor? Any opposed? And carried. All right, number 3, bylaw 1183 2025, the District of Port Hardy official community plan. It will not be for the third reading. Maybe I'll let our CAO Nelson Smith speak to that.
Yeah, so following the public hearing, we had comments that have come forward, so we're just incorporating all of that and just finalizing the draft. So we just want to make sure that we have enough time to make sure that it's all perfect. So our intention is to bring it back to the November 25th council meeting, with 26th council meeting, it's no Tuesday, 25th council meeting, for the third reading and then final adoption in December.
Thank you. Thank you so much for making sure that we include all of those very important public comments that were brought forward, and then giving time for council to review the public meeting that occurred, and then also making sure that we meet the deadline. So thank you for juggling all of that. It's appreciated.
6s and 7s.
Funny. Number 4, bylaw 1184 2025 permissive tax exemption for adoption.
So
Moved by Counselor Dorwood, second by Counselor Dugas. Any comments? Questions? No? All right, I'll call it. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. Okay, number 5, bylaw 1182 2025 zoning bylaw amendment for first, second, and third readings. I'm gonna move her.
I'll move that.
Moved by Counselor Texmo, seconded by Counselor Dugas. Any comments?
Just you'll recall that this was a staff report on the last agenda and it was published in the paper that the first reading would occur at this meeting time and that we are precluded from being a full public hearing as it is residential.
Thank you, Steve. Nelson Smith. Prohibited, yes. Any other comments? Mayor, Counselor Tidbury? All right, I'll call it. All in favor? Any opposed? Carried. All right. Pending bylaws, none in package, and council reports. Let's go with the Mayor Corbett Labatt. I hear you might have some stuff for us that I would like to hear first.
Thank you very much. And I'm sorry I'm not there, but I am at a really very interesting conference, so it's really good. So I'm just going to briefly go through some of the stuff I've done this past month, but then I have a statement that I'm going to give out. So I just wanted to mention the Autumn Festival put on by our Parks and Rec department was amazing. I attended the BCSPI elected officials meeting on social procurement, and we do social procurement just organically, but we are a member, so I wanted to go there. I went to a really heavy meeting or information session on human trafficking at seminar. And if it comes back up here, even though it was very, very heavy, I think it'd be really important to get teachers involved and more council members there, as well as more staff from the regional or from the Port Hardy. Very heavy, very scary, and how easily people are trafficked. And it can be someone as young as 12 years old, it can be someone older, but it's insidious, and it can happen in Port Hardy too.
Mhm.
Went to the RD meeting and had a very interesting presentation by the parks contractor that's there right now, that sparked a lot of discussion on parks, and she had some quite innovative ideas. Some of them could be very practical and done, and some were not so practical, but really could spark some conversation and discussion on how to look at the RD parks. Went to Shaping the Future BC's Economy, and that was an online presentation, and really talked about how there's so many regulations right now that are slowing down, like permitting with forestry, just slowing everything down and really affecting the economy. The OCP was very informative, and I want to thank how many people we had at the OCP public hearing. It was great. Lots of good points were brought forward, and really appreciate all the comments. And again, a big shout out to our CAO and staff and all her employees on the volunteer appreciation breakfast. It was amazing, and thank you very much for all you did to make it work. So, my hard one. It's on the Port Hardy Hospital and all the social media that's going around right now on the Port Hardy Hospital and on the District of Port Hardy and the Mayor and Council. We do understand how deeply frustrating concerning the limited emergency department hours are for our community and for the many neighboring communities that rely on the Port Hardy Hospital. I feel it's really important to clarify that the District of Port Hardy does not operate the hospital. Hospital staffing and operations are managed by Island Health and the province of British Columbia. Recent social media posts suggest that the district is sitting silent or can reopen the ER are simply not accurate. There is a misunderstanding about who is responsible for healthcare services. The district does not have the authority or the capacity to hire medical staff or to operate the emergency department. So what are we doing? As the mayor and as a council, we continue to take direct action with those who make decisions. We are meeting regularly with Island Health, with BC Emergency Health Services, and provincial officials to push for staffing support, sustainable recruitment, and improved emergency transportation options. We have been unwavering in our advocacy for accessible, reliable healthcare for all North Island residents. Most recently, we met with the Minister of Health, with Island Health, BC Emergency Health Services, and the Provincial Health Services Authority to continue conversation on the restoration of full emergency services and to identify ways the district can support these efforts. This includes a request to extend the ER to 7 p.m. nightly, which we understand is currently under review. It's not ideal, but even extending it to 7 p.m. will make it better for the workers and for our citizens. The District of Port Hardy, the mayor and the council, our advocacy has contributed to important provincial investments, including a major financial contribution to regional health service improvements announced through the former Minister of Health, Adrian Dix, and the previous MLA, Michelle Babchuk. This funding supported new hirings, security enhancements, recruitment incentives, staff housing, air ambulance services, future hospital upgrades, and the installation of a CT scanner. They're all critical steps towards strengthening stronger local health care and for recruitment. However, progress takes time. Across the region, there is currently over 40 healthcare vacancies, making it difficult to operate facilities safely and effectively. The national shortage of doctors, of nurses, of X-ray technicians and lab technicians and other health professionals continue to affect every rural community in BC. We are not alone in this struggle. Some communities have to travel as far as 90 minutes away just to access emergency care. Here in Port Hardy, we're doing our part to make this place where health professionals want to live and work. We are investing and continue to invest in recreation, in infrastructure, and quality of life. We're working with our partners on long-term attraction and retention strategies, including advocacy for expanded post-secondary health training opportunities. As a mayor and as a council, we remain strongly committed to advocating tirelessly for 24/7 emergency care and improved access to health services for every resident on the North Island. We will continue to keep the community informed as we push for sustainable solutions our region deserves. Our updates are often shared through recorded council meetings, through reports presented at these meetings, and at monthly Mount Washington Regional Hospital District meetings, ensuring our community remains informed and engaged in this ongoing work. Thank you.
Thank you, Mayor.
Nicely said. Thank you.
Councillor Dugas?
Thank you, Mayor, for that. I would like to see that statement that you just made posted on our webpage, the district webpage, and also provided to our local newspapers to get out to the public, to get that message out to the public, because that's where it needs to be. Because there's, like, as you've already mentioned, there's statements being made that you as the mayor and we as council aren't doing anything, and that's not the case at all. And as you mentioned that we have been meeting with the ministries, well, we were down in UBCM here in September, and we did go and we were banging on the table, making our point, and they were listening and they are trying to make it work. But as you've already mentioned, there's staff shortages everywhere, whether it's lab techs, X-ray technicians, nurses, doctors, or whatever, and that's everywhere, not just in BC, but across Canada. So we're all in this together and we want to make it better, but we can only do what we can do. And I think that we're doing everything that we possibly could do, and I think that that's what the public needs to hear. So thank you for that.
Thank you. I just want to make one other comment too. It's right now, we are one of the few communities in British Columbia that we have a full complement of doctors. We know it's cyclic, but everybody can have a family doctor. There's so many people that in other areas that are waiting. What we don't have are enough ER trained nurses. What we don't have are enough lab technicians to be able to open the ER safely. Otherwise, we will be, it's so fragile up at the hospital that they can't do it safely. But that doesn't mean that they're not trying to.
Thank you, Mayor. Thank you very much for that. I know that it's important to get that. And my goodness, we understand the importance of having a hospital open 24/7 for our community members. Absolutely. All right, moving on, Councillor Robertson.
Thank you. I will go on a little bit more too, but I was able to just initially go attend the OCP hearing and the volunteer breakfast. And thank you again for all the work in organizing the volunteer breakfast. And I'll get back to that in a second. And I was yesterday at a Foundry meeting, the Foundry meeting, and it is interesting. They're purchasing the building that they're in, and there is a planned expansion for the Foundry, supported by the province through the Foundry organization, provincial Foundry organization, and the plan is more programming as well. And it just, it struck me, and I thank the mayor and Councillor Dugas for their comments too, that the volunteer breakfast and what is going on with Foundry and working with the youth in Port Hardy, we clearly have our issues where we advocate for the hospital, for the emergency room, but again, that's not necessarily within our own control. What is within our control is what we do in our community. And what we're tasked with as a council is we need to create the community that people want to come to, that people want to locate at, and that people want to stay in, and where people want to raise their families. And I think we're doing that. And I think we're doing that with the volunteer and going to the volunteer breakfast and seeing all of the different organizations where people volunteer their time. To say that, to imply that nothing's going on is incorrect. We have an amazing recreation department that offers a wide array of programs to all sorts of different people. And ultimately, that's about wellness. And I don't think there's anything in terms of healthcare that is better received and more proactive than wellness and being well. We see businesses, young people staying in the community and starting businesses. We're fortunate to have one of those people at our councillor table who is an elected councillor as well. And so I do have some issue with the suggestion that mayor and council are not doing anything, because we are doing something, and we are creating and enhancing the community that people want to come to and stay in. So yeah, it's we don't always like to pat ourselves on the back, but I think that's part of what we can do. That's within our own grasp, and we are doing that as well, and we are committing money to it. Even the boring things like a new reservoir for $1 million.
You need water.
You need water. You need clean water. So yeah, I think those things are happening, and yeah. So I'll just leave it there. Thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. Did you have anything further to?
No.
You said you were going to come back to it.
No, yeah, I just, in passing, I did.
Thank you, Councillor Robinson. All right, Councillor Dugas.
Thank you, Deputy Mayor. Yeah, I was fortunate to be in a little vacation, so I was away for a bit, but with regards to the North Island Seniors Housing Foundation, we did put our application in here a number of months ago now. We're still waiting for approval from BC Housing. But in that, I just wanted to make note that our MLA, Anna Kendi, has been very supportive of that project. It shows she's given us letters of support, and she's always there in the background helping us. And also our MP, Aaron Gunn, very supportive of our initiative and reaching out to them. I know that I just did that again when I got back and telling them that where we're at, giving them a little bit of an update of where we're at and where we're going. And they're there to help. And I know the federal government, the budget's coming up, I think, November 4th. They're going to be talking about a number of different things. And one of the main things was with regards to housing and how much money is actually going to be coming from the federal government coming out to BC and how it's going to be put out there, and then bringing it to their attention that we do know that there's a big need in the urban centers and in the rural, but I classify ourselves as being in a remote community. And sometimes, unfortunately, those remote, smaller communities don't get what they need or what they would hope to get, put it that way. BC Housing had supported us in the past, over 30 plus years ago, with the Rotary Housing Project, 12 units that are there now. But that's all we got for seniors in this community, 12 units over 30 years ago. So I think we're due, and make that known to them, and I'm looking forward to their support. And in ending that, I'd like to thank John Tidbury for taking my place at the RD meeting there last week. John, thank you for doing that. And it's very important that we have representation at that table. And I think we're looking forward to continuing that next year and being a voice to be heard there. And that's exciting. So we'll see what happens to the end of this year, but that's all I have to report. That's a very short report from a short guy, so.
Thank you, Councillor Dugas. All right, Councillor Tidbury.
Well, I'd like to start off with saying what fantastic cooks we have in this community. I was at the cook-off and I was one of the many judges that judged the food there. It was fantastic. It was definitely a tough choice to pick who was the best and who could come in second. It was so hard, but I really enjoyed it. I enjoyed the appreciation for the breakfast and I think it's very important that we put our volunteers on a big stand, because one of the biggest things around here is lack of volunteers at the present time. It would be just something that I'd like to see more people get involved in their community. I'm part of VINWAG, and we did a field trip the other day that was very interesting, and it was we went out to Caprino logging area, and the Quatsino Band Stewardship and or Guardians as they're called, and as well as Western Forest Products, showed us what was happening in that area, about how they're preserving, the trees and how they're looking after the land, even to the small degree of the streams and the ponds, and how they're all categorized in numbers situation. It was so interesting. The mayor suggested that maybe the next time we have one of those trips that maybe other councillors might like to go along. It was really a fantastic time. I did the regional district for Dennis, again, very interested. And I did also, even though I couldn't remember who I had to report to, but I did the shake up, and as you may know, I'm here in Nanaimo with the mayor, and we're at the summit conference. Again, it's absolutely really interesting to listen to some of the speakers and some of the involvement that's happening here, and what is happening to Vancouver Island, and it would make you feel good that you live on this little island of ours. That's it.
Thank you, Councillor Tidbury. Councillor Dorwood.
Oh, yes, just a couple things for me. I participated in and enjoyed the crock-pot cook-off that the staff organized. I thought they did a really good job, and there are a lot of good cooks. Everything was really delicious.
Nice.
I need to get some of those recipes, yes. And then I attended the official community plan public hearing.
Thank you.
That's all for me.
All right.
Fun, 2 weeks flew by.
Yeah,
You sure did. Councillor Texmo.
yeah, I'm kind of in the same boat, not a lot. I've been swamped with work, and I'm not working, I'm coaching 2 different hockey teams, so it has been busy. But I really want to express my appreciation for the mayor for coming out with that statement. I've been seeing it on social media that there's this kind of, select people that like to say that we're not doing certain things, but I'm, for one, I'm proud to be a part of this council and represent the district of Port Hardy, because everybody does a lot. And I think the words that the mayor spoke really pay tribute to everything that is done. And we are working hard, and it is a big deal to us. It's our community, and we want to see our community thrive, and a part of that thriving is having good healthcare. And I think the education in her words, in speaking that, a lot of people think that we have the authority over Island Health, but we do not have the authority over Island Health. We can advocate, and we sure as hell are advocating hard. And I think Councillor Davis is completely correct in that statement should be put on the social media and in our local newspapers, just so that people can hear it right from the words of the mayor, that we are trying and we're doing what we can, and that we share the same opinions, that we wish it was better, right? So again, thank you, Mayor, for doing that. I think that's going to be very helpful. I appreciate it. That's it for me.
Thank you, Councillor Texmo. Yeah, absolutely. Certainly appreciated, Mayor. All right, October 21st, I attended the Bear Smart meeting. It's their busy time right now. They're trying to fatten up for winter so they can take a big long nap. So it's not the bears' behavior that we're going to change. It's the humans' behavior. So make sure our garbage is put away and don't leave any attractants. I'm not sure if we have that Lomi thing. I don't know if we postponed it. There is still a competition going on that you could win a Lomi, which that's where you put all your food scraps in and it makes it beautiful soil. Incredible prize. And you just have to show people or tell people how you're being bear smart. So just helping to educate your neighbors and fellow people, just getting the word out there. So that is going on, and what an incredible prize. October 22nd, I attended the Port Hardy Heritage Society. They're doing well. They've got lots of incredible stuff in their gift shops, local artists, local products. Certainly for Christmas, come take a look. They got some really neat things going on. And of course, they're doing their feasibility study to look at expanding the museum so that they can fit both the visitor center and the museum together in one building. October 23rd, I agree. I attended the public hearing for the OCP. It was fantastic getting more feedback. Certainly appreciated your comments as well. October 26th, the volunteer breakfast. It was such a wonderful event, incredible food. The variety of breakfast items was amazing. And of course, the stars of the event are our volunteers. Thank you and congratulations to all of them and all of the service groups. That's what really makes our community, because we just do not have the tax base to offer all of these incredible programs, and that's where our volunteers come in to make the community better. So huge thank you to everyone, and thank you to all of the staff for putting it on with the red carpet and what are those things called?
Stanchions.
The stanchions. Yes, it was pretty.
Like the velvet stanchions?
Yes, yes, the red carpet.
Nice touch.
Those ones right
I
there.
would like those rolled out for me.
For tax time.
That would make us feel good. Thank you.
Yeah.
They even had little Oscar things you could take your picture with, like the little Oscar. It was a really well done. All the little details, the little extra details really went a long way. All right, so I know it's getting late. We have a game that's going on. Information and announcements.
Pat just had his hand up.
Oh, sorry, Mayor, Corbett Labatt.
Under the information and announcements, the coffee with the mayor has been moved to November the 10th.
Perfect, thank you.
And the pumpkin patch is Sunday, November 2nd at 6 p.m.
Oh my goodness, thank you for bringing that up. November 2nd, pumpkin patch.
At the seawall.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Any other information and announcements? All right. Notice of in-camera meeting, none in the agenda package, and adjournment moved by, Councillor Dorwood. Wow, everyone else, you did it. Okay, any questions pertaining to the agenda? Tammy?
Yeah. Pertaining to the hospital, you brought it up here, Nick. When are they doing their question and a comment for me on that? When are they gonna do their major renovation, their enhancement to the front, what they're proposing there about a month ago of the council here? And my comment is how can they go forward with that when the discussion with our emergency care is always short-staffed? they should be focusing on getting more staff, or spending the money there instead of spending on revamping, the front end of the hospital and that. Because we don't have enough staff to keep it open. This doesn't make any sense to me.
Good question.
Okay.
Thank you for your comment and your question. Yes, yes.
Yeah.
Actually, well, they're trying really hard to recruit the people to get the emergency open, but in the meantime, having a better operating, more functional, more modern hospital helps with attraction and retention of the staff, so it all does work together to keep our health services going.
Yeah, cause I just don't make any sense. We're shut down because we're short of staff. We can't keep it open on spots. Right?
And then, like, it's same with everything, like, for us, we can't just focus on one thing, there's always all these things that need attention. You can't just look at getting the staff to get that emergency open, you have to look at making sure that you've got the modern equipment and that people wanna work in an environment like that. There's just lots of balls in the air, and it's just one more of the ball, it just has to keep being bounced.
Mayor, did you have a comment to add to that?
I just bringing or following up with what Councillor Dorwood is saying too, is our hospital is 40 years old. This is an opportunity to modernize it. The doctors, the healthcare professionals that are working there have all said it needs to be more modern. They're the ones that have said, if we can modernize it, there's a better chance of bringing more staff in.
Mhm.
And as for timeline,
Yes.
we have no timeline at this point in time. They have a development permit. And my understanding is that with the development permit, they should be coming forward with a building permit when they're ready.
Okay.
When they're ready, they're gonna do it? That's what you said?
So they've applied for a development permit, and the development permit is only good for 1 year, so they'll have to get a building permit in within that 1 year. So when they're ready, they'll apply.
Okay.
Yeah.
Just
Any-
wondering.
Thank you. Thank you, Tammy.
And Tammy, it's not just a matter about the money either. I mean, the money, you can have all the money and you can put it all into staffing, but if you don't have the facility to meet the staffing, well, it doesn't work anyway. So like as Councilor Dorwood and the mayor said, it has to work together. And right now, there's a shortage of people. I mean, if there was an abundance of lab techs, they'd be here already. That's the problem. They're not out there. We're hoping that they're gonna be educated here sooner than later, and there'll be some other people that'll be willing to come up in this particular area, but let's face it, there's a lot of those staff people, they want to work in the urban centers, like the big cities and rural places like Campbell River and it's tough to bring them to to remote areas. I mean, it's tough.
Well, they
Once we get them here, we want to keep.
gotta be a more attractive package for them to come to.
Well, that's why we would do the improvements,
Government's
right?
gotta put that on.
Yep.
Right?
Well, they do pay extra too for getting them up here.
And as Councillor Robertson said, like, also we're
Trying to do that.
recreation, rocking and rolling, so that Port Hardy is a
Make Port Hardy
good place to
attractive to
live,
come
and
here.
That's
Yeah.
right.
Yeah.
All right.
all works together.
Thank you, Tammy. Sean, do you have any?
No, I will say that I'm glad that, Mayor Pat did say that about that. I'm not on Facebook, but I have friends who are, and they showed me little things about it and just knowing what I know, like, that's not, I knew that wasn't the case and it didn't make sense to me. But, just from going to the hospital, board meeting last time at Mount Waddington, I did come out with the feeling that they don't have a lot of information to give, that the communication with the just two different departments, they didn't really have a lot of answers. They weren't there with answers with whatever questions came up. Well, oh, I don't know that, or I don't, about when is the staff housing gonna be done? Oh, I don't know that, or, other things. And that's with, Island Health, and I've been following what's happening with Interior Health, and it's a total mess what they're going through with all of Kamloops,
Mhm.
Vernon now, a whole bunch of doctors and nurses, they're just taken off, they're not feeling supported. And I don't want to see something like that with just so much administration and this person does that, and it doesn't, I don't know, I'm just getting a feeling, I don't want that to happen on Island Health, but it seems like it could easily do that if they're not careful. I just hope that things go a lot better on the island
Thanks,
than
Sean.
in Interior.
Mayor, did you have something to add?
So, and I have been asking Island Health to do their own statement and on information. And then I've been playing telephone tag with the Minister of Health the last couple of days to see about, because they can't produce a communication without permission from the Minister of Health or Ministry of Health. So the minister has to say something too. But going with what's going on, I know that Island Health has been eliminating a number of administrative positions.
Mhm.
And it's all of Island Health. I've had people send me emails saying, I don't know if you know, but I'm retiring today. And this was someone that hadn't planned to retire, but they're retiring and want to let me know. We know other people that are in administration in Island Health have all of a sudden been working somewhere else. So they have been trimming down the administration. But as well, I've also talked to employees at Island Health that are so much happier because there's more staff there. So there's more nurse trainers and nurse mentors and just more help for the new nurses that are coming in. And they're doing innovative things at Island Health too, with training ER trained nurses directly in our Port Hardy Hospital that instead of going to BCIT. As well, I know someone that's in Edmonton right now, cross-training to be an X-ray and a lab technician. And I've got my fingers crossed that person will be coming back to Port Hardy once that person does the necessary training. So things are happening. It just takes so much time, and we all want it to be over with. As Tammy said a few meetings ago, I'm tired of this. Hello, Tammy, you have no idea how tired I am of this.
Well, it's
Get us
our-
more
it's our
involved with the
ER.
public, we'll tell you. We'll tell them for it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
It's our ER, it's what we rely on.
Thank you,
We
Pat,
like-
that's good to hear.
Yeah, you should get more on Facebook there, Pat, from the mayor. It's unreal, the crap.
All right, thank you, everyone.
Thanks, everyone.
Go.
Great job, Trina. Excellent job.
Excellent job, Trina. Thanks very much.
Enjoy the rest of your conference, you two. Thank you for joining.
See you guys. Thanks,
Bye-bye.
Ramos.
Thanks.
Fabulous. You can go home now and watch the baseball.
Yeah, still on?
No, it's over.
No, it's all over.
It's not
It's
over?
all over.
Who won?
It's 2-2.
2-2, so it's not over.
Not over.
Oh, the Blue Jays won.
The Blue
Yes.
Jays won.
Yeah.
Yes. That's what I said. It's 2-2.
Sorry, I'm all excited.
Tie it
Okay,
up.
see you later.
Although, poor
I
director,
couldn't just cut them off, you know.
I know you.
Good night, John.
See you guys. Have a good night.
See you all.
Bye, John.
Bye all.